September 2025. In the town of Hebburn, South Tyneside, in the northeast of England, a brutal attack took place inside what appeared to be an ordinary home. There was no knife, no firearm, yet the consequences would remain with the victim for the rest of his life. The man responsible was Daniel Gaunt, aged 22, a young man with no fixed address, and the weapon he chose was a pot of boiling water. According to investigators, Gaunt did not simply boil the water. He deliberately added salt to the mixture. This increased its temperature and made the burns even more severe. On the day of the attack, the victim had no idea he was about to experience a life-changing ordeal. In a matter of seconds, the boiling liquid was thrown directly onto him. The screams came instantly. The pain was immediate. Witnesses later described it as one of the most horrifying incidents they had ever seen. When emergency services arrived, the victim had suffered serious burns. Medical staff rushed to provide urgent treatment, but the damage extended far beyond the initial injuries. The scars would remain for life. That was a point repeatedly emphasized by prosecutors during the court proceedings. Following the attack, Daniel Gaunt disappeared. Northumbria police launched a search operation to locate him. Investigators quickly determined that this was not a routine assault. The severity of the victim's injuries meant the case was treated as a serious offence involving grievous bodily harm. Over the following weeks, Gaunt attempted to evade the authorities. But one of the most remarkable moments in the case occurred when police finally came face to face with the suspect. An officer believed the man standing before him closely resembled Daniel Gaunt. When asked to provide his name, the man replied simply, "Johnny." The officer then asked, "Johnny what?" Without hesitation, he answered, "Johnny Johnson." At first glance, it sounded like an ordinary response, but to the officer, something did not seem right. He remained convinced that the man was the fugitive he had been searching for. As questioning continued, Daniel Gaunt eventually admitted his true identity. The moment was later captured on police body cam footage. The officer looked at him and said, "Thought so, mate." Gaunt responded with a smile, a reaction that many people following the case found difficult to understand. While the victim was left with permanent scars and lasting trauma, the man responsible appeared to treat the situation almost casually. It was a detail that attracted significant public attention. In many violent crime cases, a suspect's behaviour after the offence can reveal a great deal about their attitude towards the harm they have caused. Indifference does not always mean a lack of remorse, but in this case, it raised serious questions about whether Gaunt truly appreciated the consequences of his actions. After his arrest, he was charged with causing grievous bodily harm. Medical evidence presented to the court outlined the extent of the victim's injuries. Photographs and treatment records demonstrated the seriousness of the burns. Prosecutors argued that this was not merely an act committed in the heat of the moment. The use of boiling water, combined with the addition of salt, significantly increased the danger posed to the victim. The case was heard at Newcastle Crown Court. During the trial, jurors were presented with the full sequence of events, from the moment the attack occurred to Gaunt's efforts to avoid responsibility afterwards. After considering all the evidence, the jury returned a guilty verdict. The sentencing hearing attracted considerable attention across the region. The judge highlighted the severity of the attack, particularly the lifelong impact it would have on the victim. Daniel Gaunt was sentenced to 4.5 years in prison. Following the sentencing, Detective Sergeant Daniel Ross issued a statement. He described the attack as a terrifying experience for the victim. He also stressed that the injuries and scarring caused by Gaunt's actions would remain for the rest of the victim's life. For many observers, the sentence sparked debate. Some believed the punishment was appropriate. Others felt that the lifelong consequences suffered by the victim warranted a longer prison term. But perhaps the most important lesson lies elsewhere. This case demonstrates how a few seconds of violence can permanently alter the course of someone's life. The victim must now live with the physical scars, the emotional trauma, and the memories of that devastating day. Meanwhile, Daniel Gaunt must face the legal consequences of the choices he made. What began with a pot of boiling water, and an attack lasting only moments, ended with years behind bars, and injuries that may never fully heal. That is why this case continues to be remembered as one of the most shocking violent attacks to emerge from Northumbria in recent years.